In the year 2050, us Generation Z will be in our 40s. If we have children, they will be around our age now. They will face the climate crisis at its tipping point. I'm addressing you now to talk about something that is going to happen long before 2050. In fact, it is going to be taking place on Friday the 27th of September, a date set to end the Climate Action Week with a global intergenerational climate strike. Last week we saw over 4 million strikers. Momentum is building. The more of us that take to the streets to urge for climate action this Friday, the better our chances are of averting the catastrophe of 2050. Our climate is changing rapidly, and the cause is human activity. The science is crystal clear, and yet many politicians ignore the facts. They choose to ignore the ice caps melting and the acidification of our oceans. They ignore wildfires and mass extinction. They ignore floods, hurricanes, and freak weather. They think it's okay to burn the lungs of our planet, to slowly and painfully exterminate any chance we have of living on planet Earth. And for what? For the economic benefit of the few? One thing, however, is for certain. No amount of money will buy a planet B. Those of us born in the 21st century are living at a crucial time in the history of humanity. Since we were young, we were taught about recycling and saving energy. That was then. But now, as the Earth continues to warm, much more drastic measures need to be put in place. Measures that as children we have no control over. Measures that aren't being applied because it would require a whole new way of running our economy. For many, the situation seems hopeless. But if you all think that it's useless trying to change, think about Greta Thunberg. Not only about what she wants to achieve, but what she has already achieved in just over 1 year. Let's remember how she started a school strike every Friday, sitting alone outside the Swedish Parliament with a homemade banner saying "School Strike for Climate." She was mocked and ostracized by politicians, accused of promoting truancy, spreading panic, and exaggerating the rates at which our planet is warming up. Today, a year on, aged only 16, her civil disobedience has already captured half the world's attention. Politicians feel threatened. They mock her young age, but there is no denying the science behind her words. If one teenager sitting outside Parliament can make headlines, imagine the combined impact of millions of teenagers all over the planet. We don't realise our potential impact, but it's much greater than we think. We are at the crossroads of our fate and the fate of future generations. We are in a battle against the climate emergency and the politicians who ignore us. We must take this battle to the streets on September 27th. We must act in spite of politicians' empty promises. We must act for those spreading messages of empty hope. We must act so that in 2050 we will be able to look our children in the eye and say we marched for the climate. We changed the course of history.